The world famous Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. Morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, it's great. American Idol got all the crew down there in Hazelhurst yesterday. Big concert there at the football field.
A lot of Wayne counties I know went over there, checked it out. A lot of Will Mosley fans. And like I said, we're pulling for him. I've been voting since day one. I said I just got, for some reason, I got hooked when I found out there was a local kid right around. So he's done well. He's in the final three. He got a chance to win it. So they had a big turnout last night over in Hazelhurst at the football stadium. Had a big parade for him. So we wish him well.
Yeah, when he's a Georgia Southern graduate, and Luke Ryan, the Georgia Southern, and Cole Swindell. All Georgia Southern kids doing real good in the country music field. Well, Bob, we've got guests here on the world famous Butch and Bob Show. Who do we start with?
We got election. Got two school board candidates on the ballot. One's unopposed. One's opposed. Got Tina Mosley in District 5, Todd Wise in District 3. Appreciate y'all coming in. Todd, you're lucky you got no opposition. So
as long as that's lucky or not, but I'll take it.
As long as you vote, as long as you vote for yourself, you're
saying that lucky.
Yeah. So Tina, I'll ask you, how's the campaign going? What are you doing? Are you going? How do you getting out and seeing the voters? Unfortunately, only 1,462 have voted early. Again, maybe it'll pick up between now and end of the week, and maybe a big turnout next Tuesday. But again, it's going to be frustrating for all. I talked to a friend the other day. If I was a candidate for sheriff, or it's going to be frustrating out there spending all this money out there campaigning and hardly anybody's vote.
Right. Yeah, and I've done a lot. I've got signs out everywhere. I've got T-shirts. I've been calling people. I've been texting people, sending them private messages. I've emailed some people that couldn't get in touch with by phone. I get out and talk to people when I get an opportunity. So I've been really busy. I've been working hard, and I'd like to encourage District 5 to vote because you've got a county commissioner seat and a school board seat open, so that are opposed. So we really need people, especially in District 5, to get out and vote.
So what's your campaign message to people when you're out there campaigning?
I feel like I've done what I said I was going to do from my last one just 2 years ago. I'm here for the teachers and the students. I've voted the way that I think is what's best for teachers and students, and that's what I continue to want to do. And, I had in the newspaper, I said I was part of the ag facility visits. I was part of the ROTC visits. I've looked at the drawings. I'm familiar with that. We've looked at the revised drawings. So I've got a lot of experience from that, so we'll know how to move forward, and I'd like to see that through as well.
Let's start with those two projects. Like I said, East Bloss Pass. So, again, the first two projects are the ag facility and the ROTC facility. As you mentioned, you and board members have gone and looked at other facilities and looked at their buildings and things like that. I had a chance. I told people when I went to play Southeast Bullock, got there early one day, and their ag facility is right there by the ballpark. It's an open facility, beautiful place. Ware County, the same thing. There's right next to the ballpark. But you ask people that ask what the cost of it is, and most of them tell you it's under $3 million. So I just want to get your thoughts on these proposals. Where do you the bids are going to come in on May 23rd? Where do you think the bids are coming in at?
Well, I hope they come in a lot less than what we're expecting, so that we can build what we need. The people who've looked at them, the people involved they've cut some things. They've compromised with us, because we didn't want to do the $12 million ag facility, and they've been really eager to cut some things that they weren't necessarily needs, they were wants. So I'm just hoping that we can move forward with it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the bids are.
Todd, do you get any idea what the bids are going to come in at? I'm still, I go back to when they were first discussions. They had all these meetings before the East Bloss, and I said I've been on my rant about how we had that meeting with all these athletic people minded, and the word was going to be plenty of money. After we build these two facilities, the only question is whether we're going to build a new stadium or renovate a stadium, but there's going to be plenty of money there. That's what we were told. So when they first proposed these projects combined, they were not near what the bids are talking about now. So how did it get from where it was when they proposed it to where they are now? I mean, I don't understand.
Originally, you were at a $12 million ag building and a $3 million ROTC building. So after we looked around at several of the other facilities, if you sit down and do the basic math, you're talking about $4 million to James E. Bacon, $2 million to buses, $1 million to technology, $12 million to an ag building, $3 million to a ROTC building, new roofs at the high school. You don't have but about $2 million left over at this East Plus. That's not going to work for the next 5 years. We cannot hold on to that kind of money. So if you do an ag building, let's say at $5 million, and let's say a 40% markup on material after COVID, that puts you at $7.5 million max. If you do a $1 million ROTC building, that puts you at $1.5 million. So now you're only at $9 million versus $15 million. So there's a $6 million savings for us right now. What has happened is when you do a drawing, the architect gets the drawing and the fees of a rough draft. They get 6% of the commission off the bat. So if I tell an architect you got $12 million, he's going to give me a $12 million rendition of a building because he's going to get 6% off $12 million. He doesn't want to come in at $7 million. So we have worked diligently, the board and I and Tina and all that, to bring this down to where it is a comparable number. You know, we're looking at what we need to help these students out. They've earned the right for an RTC building. They've earned the right for an ag building. There's a difference between a need and a want. We don't have to have the best facility in the United States for being number 59th in agriculture. We need the facility that is right for these young men and women, that is going to get them by and do everything that they need. Now, like I said, I support it 100%. I am 100% for the RTC and ag, but not at $12 million.
What about the firing range? Are y'all in favor of that? Because that wasn't the proposal. And all of a sudden they're talking about the firing range, and that's an additional expense. So explain that. Is that something that's needed?
DOD mandates that the ROTC building has an indoor facility for drill. It has 2 offices, 2 classrooms, and is furnished by internet and by telephone. Then they pass it down to each state, to the Georgia Board of Education. That is what's mandated to build an ROTC building. That's it. There's nothing about firing ranges inside. That is a GHSA sport. So if you take a GSHA sport, which is competition shooting, that should be a total separate entity than the ROTC building. Those two are not together. That is 2 separate entities. So I have talked with several, Ms. Mosley and I, and several other board members. If you build that, then that has to be paid for out of a fund balance through your athletic department, because technically it is a sanctioned sport. So that should be separated from our RTC building as its own entity and its own building. So right now, I think that wasn't on the East Plus. So I think we need to concentrate on the 2 main things that were, which is our ag and RTC building, and the money that is left over to update our facilities.
And just joining us in the studios with us is Tina Mosley, candidate for District 5, and Todd Wise on the ballot in District 3, unopposed. Last night, the budget came up, and I kind of fell backwards when they stated they're talking about another $5.5–6 million increase in the budget. I mean, they just increased it the previous year. Where's all this money coming from? I mean, is money growing on trees? We just passed the East Plus. People are saying, why does it need to be a $5.5–6 million? Where's the money going?
We are having to give raises per the governor, and all of those are not covered by the state. So we do have to take care of that. That also includes the benefits as well. So that's a big chunk of it right there.
Does that come to $6 million? Though?
No, it does not.
I mean, just
What is the percentage of the budget for the employees and their benefits? Let's just say salaries, benefits for the Board of Education.
Mm-hmm.
It is the majority of the budget. I don't know the exact percentage, but it is the majority.
Would you say 80?
Oh, yeah, I would think between 60 and 80%, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard it was 80, but I didn't know for
Yeah,
sure.
definitely.
Okay.
And see, one of the big things we've discussed on the board is, and this is all of us, this is from the board members to superintendents to administrators, is retention of teachers. We're losing a lot of teachers right now, and they're going to counties very close by. And
some of them smaller than us, too.
yes, and some are smaller than
We
us.
want to keep them here.
We want to keep them here. This is the quality of education that our children need. I'm 100% education first, athletics all comes second. Because if you cannot have an education, you can't play sports. We all know that playing sports, you have to have a GPA. The biggest question and concern that I'm really advocate over is making our teachers happy. Now, whether that starts at the top and works its way and facilitates us down to the bottom, we have got to maintain a core quality of teachers here that is wanting to come in and stay and educate our future generations of our children and not leave this area. So that is a big concern, and that goes back to the budget, Mr. Bob, what we're talking about. Teacher pay raises, unfortunately, they went up on the insurance premiums now on our teachers and everything. So we're having to offset that cost.
And that's the one thing a lot of people don't realize. The state will mandate
Right.
benefits, mandate raises, things that
Yes.
go up, but they don't cover just a proportion of it. The rest of it have to come from the counties.
Right.
That's
and
right.
benefits are going up this year as well.
I noticed the last couple of board meetings that we read the personnel, and they say there's just seems to be a lot of people leaving the school system. Are they leaving because they can get more pay? I mean, what's the reason why everybody's? And I mean, it seems like it's a lot more people.
Well,
Some are retiring, I understand, but the majority of the people on the list is just resignations. So
yeah, and I mentioned in an interview that I did recently that I would like for us to have exit interviews, and Mr. Wise and I have talked about that to find out exactly what it is that is happening causing these people to leave. And I think that would give us a lot of bang for our buck to find out, because we need to make the teachers happy. And I think part of it is salary. I think they are getting signing bonuses from some of these places. I know that some of these places do pay better because of the amount of funds that they receive, because they are very low income areas, or because, in Hinesville, you've got Liberty County, you've got the base there. So I really would like for us to have exit interviews to find out specifically why. We've got a lot of people who are uncertified. They've never been to college to be a teacher. They have bachelor's degrees or master's degrees, but they're not in education. And sometimes it's hard to keep those people because they do it a year and go, well, this is not for me. And so we need to grow our own teachers as well. I know that last night we had 2 people resign as paraprofessionals because they've gotten their teaching degrees now, and so next year they'll be teaching. So, and retired educators, we had our meeting Monday, and we gave a scholarship to a paraprofessional who's in college right now to become a teacher. So we need to grow our own. I wish we still had the pathway in high school for teaching, because that would encourage some of our high school students to realize, it really is a great career, because the benefits when you retire are amazing. And I think we need to push that a little bit more and help people see that we've got to have those good teachers, because it's hurting our students desperately. And so we need to keep the good ones that we have, and they're leaving us, and I want to know why.
Have we looked at the exit ratio at counties around us to see if we're about in the same? If you take a look at the for Ware County or Bacon County or Long County or Liberty County, whatever, do we have the same turnover rate? Has anybody looked at that?
I have asked about that and would love to see those statistics. I've got to do a little more research to be more educated on that. But yeah, I would like to know. I don't know that.
Okay.
you mentioned the uncertified teachers. Another shocking thing that comes up every year is the amount of money that the school system has to pay on substitute teachers. I mean, it's amazing how many. I mean, that's just a mind-boggling figure every time it comes up. It's like, what's going on there? Why do we have to have so many substitute teachers? Why where are the regular teachers that are? I mean, and you hear they have to give incentives to show for work. I mean, I'm like, most places if you don't show for work, you get fired. So
Yeah.
why are we giving incentives for people to show for work? I just sit there and I shake my head like, what are we doing? I mean,
Well, the stress level of teaching is extremely high, and you're around children who carry illnesses, and so teachers do get sick a lot, until you've been in it for a long time and your immune system builds up. So we do have to have a lot of substitutes. And we used to have teachers who would collaborate with one another, and we'd use that time, which we've stopped that pretty much. But a lot of it has to do with illness, and a lot of teachers, I hate to say this, are women, and they're the primary caretaker of the children, and so if their children are sick, then they're going to be out. So we do, we have a lot of good reasons for people being out sick. But yeah, we do have a lot of substitutes, and then we have substitutes who don't show up. And so then teachers have to cover for other teachers, and it's hard to understand, hard to wrap your brain around unless you've been in the system.
Let's talk about James E. Bacon. James E. Bacon, they said last night, finally, they still talk about his punch list, projected at $14 million. I think the price tag's at 22, something like that. Your thoughts on the James E. Bacon project? And this seems to be a trend too. Another reason that East Bloss is a problem, because the first several million is going to pay for the overcost runs. And the same thing happened with the Martha Ross Smith Elementary School. It seems to be a trend where, you get excited about the East Bloss passing. We're going to get all these projects, but this first several million are going to pay for buildings that are overrun and overcost. So your just overall thoughts on the James E. Bacon project in general?
Well, first of all, Tina and I inherited that. We came on the board. Let's get that up front. How do I feel about it? I'm glad to see that the project's almost finally over. I'd like to see this punch list completed. As you saw last night, Mr. Bob, at the meeting, I asked Dr. Kelly, were we paying anything on this punch list, any contractors, and he assured me no. The punch list should be done, completed, just like before you get the final draw. That's it in a nutshell. If you got 20 items on that punch list in the construction world, you have to complete that punch list before you get a final draw. So Dr. Kelly said last night that they were not receiving any funding until the punch list is completed, because it was such a big project, and you have electrical contractors, heating and air contractors. They moved on to bigger contracts as well across the state, so trying to get them back, as he stated, was kind of hard. No, if you want your money, come back, finish the job, let's move on. That's what you signed your contract for. If not, you're not getting any of your money for your final draw. We'll get somebody else to do it, and we'll take it out of your funding, and we'll pay for it. It's that simple. So I'm glad it's over. I think we've learned a lot from it. I think that there is some things that I would have seen different, but you know what? It's a beautiful school. It is what it is. The teachers are happy. The kids are happy. So let's just move forward, and let's do great things for all of our school systems.
You asked last night about the 23 audit, and the superintendent said they hadn't received it. Everybody's seen that 23. Why do you think he told you didn't have the audit when the audit's already out there?
I don't know. I will speak to him today about that. I know I had the 2022 audit that I was able to pull up, and I asked for the 2023 audit. I'm not sure why he did. I don't know if he was thinking that maybe it was 2024 that I was asking for instead of 2023. I know the audit is out there now. I received it last night. So, and I'm sure maybe because it was a question that he wasn't thinking about at the time with everything that was going on, maybe he was thinking it was a different year. So, but we do have it.
Your thoughts on the audit? Have you read it?
I haven't reviewed 100% of the 2023 audit. I have reviewed the 2022 audit on the mistakes that were made, and we talked about that with the board members and Dr. Kelly, and we were assured that that was going to be rectified and taken care of. And now that I get to review the 2023 audit, I'll do a comparison of anything that happened in 2022, and then that way I'll have all my ducks in a row before I present it.
And just joining us, we've got two school board members in the studio. Tina Mosley running for re-election in District 5, and Todd Wise running for re-election in District 3. I want to go back when y'all first found out you had to run again. That was kind of a confusing thing.
Yeah.
Did y'all get over that yet, or how was that explained? Because they said there was some confusion in Atlanta, or how did that come out? Because y'all just got elected, so why?
And I will let her add on this. From my understanding, it was even numbers run in one consecutive spot and odd numbers run in the other, so that way you're not replacing the entire board at one time and making everybody run together. It just so happened that the odd numbers, which was Miss Mosley and I, we all of a sudden got the one that got the 1 year in. Now you got to run again at the 1 year in. The commissioners, I think, are doing the same thing. And then the even numbers were referred for 2 years from now. So from what, like I said, she can caveat off this. From what I was explained to, odd numbers got picked to run first, even numbers got picked to run second. Mm-hmm. And we were on the odd numbers, so we got picked to run.
And the boards around here have done that. they've
Yes.
gone because we've seen this for so many years. So sometimes you may have 4 or 5 new people come in.
That's right.
And now through the years they've changed it where it's 3-2, 3-2
Right.
type thing.
Yeah.
So it's 1, 3, and 5 running now, and then 2 and 4 will run in 2 years.
Yeah, and right now there's only 4 board members because Joe McPipkin resigned. But correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I understand it, talking to Tammy and everybody, once the election is over and they certify the election results, Mr. Yarberg will be able to be sworn in since there's nobody running against him, and he should be on the board soon after the election. Is that correct? Is that your understanding?
Yeah, I mean, that's our understanding, yes, is that's what will happen after the election is over.
So he could be in there before June.
Yes.
He'd be there for the June meetings then.
Right.
Right. Okay. That's
How-
good.
How is it having just 4 board members? At least I haven't seen any 2-2 votes, so that's good news.
Yeah, I mean, it really hasn't changed anything. I mean, it's odd sitting there with just 4 of us, but no, it hadn't really changed anything.
All right. One thing I wanted to discuss, I hadn't heard anybody give an update. Anybody know how the kid's doing from the video in the fight? I mean, there wasn't anything said. I know the father has been on TOC, upset with what happened, but have y'all heard anything? You had any update on how that child's doing? Or is he out of the hospital? But does anybody know?
We haven't, from my understanding, that somebody in our school system has contact. We're staying out of it as a board right at this moment for certain reasons. We do inquire, but we are not allowed to have any contact with that whatsoever right now.
Gotcha.
So
I'm sure it's due to legal.
Yes.
Other thing, do y'all have an attorney, local attorney, or who's your attorney? Who's the school board attorney? Because I'm curious. They have that lawsuit filed from the incident with the ROTC instructor who's up for criminal charges. That lawsuit's been filed. Do y'all ever get an update on where that stands? Because that happened back in 2021. That's 3 years ago. Have y'all got any update on that at all?
we don't.
No.
We don't.
Not gotten any update.
We don't get updates on it until it is pursued into our area, and that's when the final decisions is made. But as far as updates, they keep us out of it for legal issues.
Okie doke.
Well, let's ask Tina, since she's the one that's got opposition, the question that we normally ask at the end of the
We
interview.
always ask when they go to that voting booth, why should they vote for Tina Mosley for School Board District 5?
They should vote for Tina Mosley for School Board District 5 because I was an educator for 30 and a half years, and I'm familiar with this new dyslexia legislation that's coming through and the literacy development that we're working on because I was an English teacher. So I know what to expect, and I know how to vote to make sure that things are done correctly. I also support the teachers. I want what's best for our teachers because if we do what's best for our teachers, then we're doing what's best for our students. I feel like my record shows that I'm passionate about education. I'm passionate about doing what is best for this county and for our schools, and I want to continue to make a difference in the lives of teachers and students.
Okay.
Well, again, we appreciate you coming in. Like I said, we say it all the time. These seats are for our elected officials. We'd love to hear from them. You're more than welcome to come. Maybe you can get the superintendent to come. We'd love to have him. But like I said, he's kind of ignored everything I've asked, from the fight at the basketball game to the resignation of Joe McPipkin. That was the craziest thing. I called and simply asked for the letter of resignation. He ignored it. I got the letter from another source. We put it on the air. I understand they emailed 5 minutes after we put it out there that he resigned. So I don't understand why, I get ignored. But same thing with the fight. We got it from the police department, but the school system, there's nothing. I don't know if y'all have a PR department or what's going on, but I just can't get any information from the man in charge. So
Basically what Bob's saying, he doesn't like being ignored.
I don't like being ignored. I mean,
And he will talk about it.
I just don't understand it. I mean, he's welcome to come in here anytime. We'd
And
love to
the
have
chairs
him.
are open.
So
Okay.
we do appreciate y'all coming
Thank
in.
you.
Best of luck in the
right.
Thank
campaign.
you.
Thanks for coming in.
We
sir.
appreciate everybody.
Y'all doing a great job.
Thank you
All
so
right,
much.
take care.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
All right, the world famous Butch and Bob show here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, and it's been brought to you by First Southern Bank, Van's Barbecue, Murphy Builder Supply, and O'Quinn and Associates.